Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. Today's message, I'd like to talk to you about how to manage anxiety with affirmations. Why am I doing this? Because a lot of times we don't really know how to use affirmations. We kind of just pick ones that sound good, ones that kind of resonate with a goal or a desire, which is good. I'm not saying that that's bad. But I'm hoping to give you some tools to help you create your own affirmations and to know when to use them so that they can have the best or most effect for you. So, first I want to talk about, how we are shown how to use affirmations. A lot of times they say to write them on a mirror or a sticky note with on a mirror, or to write them down on a notebook or a refrigerator, to cite them, a number of times at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. And then, our mind begins to believe them. And this is true. This does happen over time. Saying the same affirmations or mantras over and over again, our subconscious mind does begin to believe that that is the truth, a new truth and reality. But a lot of times we're kind of like swinging in the dark when it comes to developing an affirmation and using it in a really productive, active way when we are triggered with anxiety. So first, we have to learn what our triggers are. So, being in a certain situation or around a certain type of person, when a certain feeling comes up, that then triggers the thoughts, which then triggers the anxiety. That would be kind of step one, like a layer one going down into you. So then the next layer, like of that oven onion, is then like discovering what your limiting beliefs are. And what I mean is discovering these limiting beliefs. So feeling that you're not good enough, you're unworthy, you're a burden, all the ways. I can sit there and name so many, but those are a good example to kind of get your mind going. You might feel unlovable. You might feel dumb, not smart enough, not capable. These are the stories, these limiting beliefs create then these stories that we tell about ourselves, right? Because, I'm a burden. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden. So then going out from that, when we communicate or interact with other people, we might present ourselves in these ways where maybe we're timid or we're shy or we're really maybe gentle with the way that we're speaking, like timid when we're speaking, or soft. Maybe we're not assertive or really speaking our mind. And the way that then we express ourselves outward will then affect that person, their reality, and so on. So I'm trying not to get like super deep into that. I'm like pulling myself back. So understanding your limiting beliefs will give you really good insight now on what affirmation you need to work on. Not work on, I mean work on as in like writing for yourself or discovering on your own, like going and looking it up or looking it up online, or you can even find biblical text of not just, or biblical texts or other holy texts that you can then, exactly which one, because now I know I feel unworthy, that I need to focus on feeling worthy. And what does that now, the next step, what does that look like in my life, right? We can see the negative way, how maybe we feel timid or meek, we don't go for things, but, to feel worthy. An example with a client we were just talking about was like getting a new cell phone, and when is that time? We can give ourselves a laundry list of practical reasons why we shouldn't pay for a new cell phone right now. Blah, 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 right? All the reasons. But then at the end of the day, when you finally have to get the new cell phone because the old one's broken or whatever, and you're like, wow, this new technology. And then you realize you're like, I'm worthy of having nice things. I'm worthy of having a new phone and staying up to date. And that doesn't mean every year, every 2 years, maybe every 4 years you get a new phone. Instead of like me, it was like 7 years plus. But, and again, I had a laundry list of reasons. But then at the end of the day, when I got my new phone, I realized, gosh, I was not allowing myself to have a nice thing. And I was giving myself a laundry list of practical reasons why I can't have this thing. At the end of the day, I needed it for my business, for my personal life, for everything. So seeing how that limiting belief shows up in just these little things where you don't even think about it. So then when you get triggered, now we're circling back to getting triggered. What do I do? And I'm talking specifically triggered with anxiety, where it's these what if or why thoughts, the shallow breathing, the upset stomach, you're pacing, you have all this energy, right? But like you can't focus at the same time. You might feel like you're freaking out, or like you drink too much coffee. That is what anxiety feels like. Now you can kind of deconstruct. Okay, I'm feeling anxiety. What event just happened that triggered the anxiety? Okay, that was the event. Okay, what are the thoughts that was just triggered from the events? The way that person spoke to me, they sounded condescending, or they were belittling in some way, and it triggered that thought of feeling unworthy, feeling less than, and it pissed me off because I'm feeling disrespected. Now I'm triggered. Now I'm like, and maybe your anxious thoughts are, I should have said this, I should have said that, blah, 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 blah. Or why would they do this? Why would they do that? What about me? What about, why I would do this or that? So you kind of will, reverse engineer it in a sense. So you got triggered. What's the event? What are the thoughts that you're thinking? So now you know which limiting belief is being brought up. Now you can say your affirmation. I am more than enough. What that person, the way that person treats me or talks to me is only a reflection of how they feel inside. It doesn't have anything to do with me. And you just start saying all the things that you need to say. You don't allow yourself to fall down that slippery slope and listen, and you just start spinning more and more because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And now you're like, right? And you're all worked up. You want to call somebody and talk about it and justify it. So now you get to the point where you just start saying all those affirmations you need to say, and maybe it's just one that you repeat, or maybe it's 2 or 3 that you kind of repeat through, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Maybe we have this energy, because we don't know what to do because we're feeling so triggered. We need to go for a walk. Or maybe we can't because it's like snowing here right now. You can't go for a walk. Maybe, you do some push-ups. Or, I'm just thinking like a physical activity, right? Or maybe you go into some yoga and you work on your deep breathing and stretching and getting this energy out of your body while you're saying these affirmations to yourself. And what you're doing is that you're showing up for your inner child in this moment, and you're saying, look, I understand that you're upset right now, so I'm going to remind you of the person that you are and the person that you want to be and that you will become, and that everything's okay and everything's all right. And, using the worth, I know my worth, I know my value, I don't need to justify or explain myself. I don't need to, I am who I am and I love myself. And you just say all those things to help you get back down into your body and feeling good and at peace with yourself. Because we can't control other people. We can't control how other people think. We can't even control the image or persona that somebody has of you in their own head. Okay? You can't control how someone perceives you and the intentions and everything they put onto you. This is where you have to validate yourself and stay true to yourself and say, I know where my intentions are. I know where my truth is, and that's all that matters. And you just keep showing up for yourself like that. And you keep hitting that point back home. Like what they say or think or do is not my responsibility. I'm only responsible for myself. And this is how I do that. By showing up, instead of numbing ourselves out in any way, in any way that, that we do as humans. So, again, just to do the quick steps. So figure out your triggers and figure out your limiting beliefs. Where do you feel less than? Or those emotions that you don't really want to feel? I'm not saying to go and feel them. I'm just saying to acknowledge they're there. So now you know that when you get triggered, it's going to be one of these things. And now you know if one of these things gets, kind of pulled out of the slot, okay, now what do I need to do for that? And then you have your laundry list of tools, right? That you can put a weighted blanket on and you can sit there and rock back and forth and tap. I'm trying to get it. I'm doing it opposite, but and say the affirmations. If you need to go for a run or a walk, get outside, do some yoga, and then say these things to yourself to prove to yourself that you don't need to listen to that, because you can choose your own thoughts and you can choose your own way that you want to perceive things, and that you do have control over how you feel. And it starts with making that choice, like I'm choosing to not believe that, and this is what I'm choosing to believe about myself. So I hope this helped. Please let me know. Take care, you guys. Love you. Bye.